Alrighty, welcome everyone to the package group retrospective for the 14th of February 2020. First on our list in what went not so well is Gigi's, and I'll read for Gigi since he's not here. Composer MR still going and feels like it's going to take a bit yet. There's a little back and forward on some of the review process, which is the sort of slightly more detail there. Also from GG, had another missing feature on one of my MRs, but managed to fix it in a new MR. And then over to Dan, that's me. Trying to get my local development environment set up hasn't been super successful so far. And then metrics actually haven't stayed consistent on dashboards I've been using, which has been really frustrating for me. And I got to dig into a little bit of what's going on there. It might just be that the projects that we should have in their list are not included, so I need to verify that. Which Dan point did I skip? Oh yeah, I did. Thanks. I said I've been feeling pretty tense all week, and making sure I'm not making poor decisions around that has been a bit tough for me. Was that the one? Thanks for the follow-up there, everyone. And over to Steve.
This week, a small change to the package validation in order to fix some restrictions with the Conan naming. Ended up being kind of a difficult change, which involved some database index changes and some other stuff. And then that ended up breaking master, and then debugging that error ended up being a pretty puzzling factory bot bug. So it just ended up taking a lot longer than expected to get that one through. Tim?
Okay, so yeah, this week just flew by for me, having a bunch of stuff going on. I didn't get to spend, as I've said, as much time, but really any time on some of the problem validation issues that I wanted to work on. So that was disappointing. And then I learned that snowplow events are not SMAO eligible and that they don't include self-managed instances. So I added something to the handbook, but it does mean that a lot of our event tracking doesn't include our self-managed customers. So we may see, I did learn that the opt-out rate for the usage ping is pretty high, but we're still seeing lower numbers than expected. So I opened up some issues and posted some stuff in Slack to start that conversation though. On to Nick.
Yeah, so for me, today's felt pretty slow, like in terms of productivity, from my point of view. I think it's because I had a front end review this morning and that just seemed to take quite a while, and just, I don't know, it just knocked me off my momentum, I guess. I've also had a few GDK issues this week, mostly like my runners just stopped working for some reason. I think might have been down to like, I don't know, Docker update or something like that. I don't know. I just had to spend a little bit of time reinstalling all of those basically, which was fun. So yeah, over to Haley.
Yeah, so last week, this Friday last week, I discovered an issue with the resource usage for S3 when you use the dash in flag on garbage collection. And I had to, work quickly to mitigate that, which was not a fun experience to find that issue. And this week, just stressed or worried about a lot of the release, and I think I just didn't feel effective. So on to David.
So this week, yeah, I was not sure how to release the NuGet MVC with the feature flag and the changelog entry. So I had to create a quick MR yesterday and keep fingers crossed that it would be merged. It has been, so we should be cool on this side. Also, the NuGet search MR is still in maintainer review after a full week. So yeah, start feeling really slow. Over to Joao.
So this week we found a problem in CND, which causes the previous container registry releases not to hit the GitLab.com production environment. So that's very substantial. Because of this, in 12.8, we are going to ship more than we thought we would for GitLab.com. And then asks what CNG stands for. That's a good question. Yeah, I'll find it. On to Nico.
Yeah, so the mock interview preparation and the interview itself drained like a lot of energy from me and time. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting it at all, so I didn't plan around it properly. And then today with Joao, we discovered a small bug on the container registry on the new one, and I think it caused a bit of stress to him, so sorry. And over to Gigi, which is not here, on what went well. So Gigi says, got a few easy wins at the start of the week and a few MRs merged. And then had a chat with Ocho Rocho, I suppose, about issues with the composer and got a plan of action to move the MR forward. And over to Dan.
Thank you. Ocho was correct. Nice job. I got through creating my OKRs, which was nice. They were deliverable last Friday, so I completed those, which I'm happy about. And I've shared those with everyone on the team, so you could all look at them. Happy to get feedback on those OKRs as well, if people feel like they would like to. Created dashboards and getting through some of my to-dos. And keen to start contributing on code, and appreciate Steve and Haley's help there trying to get GDK set up. Sounds like maybe Nick can help me too. And I got through a lot of to-dos later in the week, which feels nice. Over to you, Steve. Steve,
Oh.
Hi, there you are.
It's lagging for some reason. So this week, the container expression policy fix was merged. So that was exciting that that went through relatively quickly. And then I was also able to get a couple of small side MRs through, which always feels good. And I was pleasantly surprised that the first 12.9 issue that I started to work on, which I had originally thought was going to be a 3, has ended up moving much more quickly. So that's nice. Over to Tim.
I think I added a bunch this week. So I think the milestone planning has gone really well for 12.9, although we don't have the deliverable tags labels yet, but the conversation's been really productive, and I feel like we iterated a bunch on the issues and updated proposals and stuff like that. I've learned a lot managing the release posts, both about other stages and some of the features that they're releasing and prioritizing, and also different Git workflows that have pushed my limits. And I'm proud of our stage Sisense dashboard, and I've actually utilized some of the data that we have in 2 decisions and issues this week, which felt really cool because for a long time we were just making decisions, and now we're actually using data. And actually I had a customer reach out to me and just say that 12.8 looks like an awesome release and that they're really excited for all those features. So I think generally it's going to be our best release ever. Lots of really exciting features coming out in that. Oh, and then I added one. Thank you everyone for joining the hackathon. It was great having support and demos and being able to ask everyone questions. I thought that was really fun and hopefully a great way if we keep doing these to drive more community contributions, although hopefully I have to talk less and less during those. So yeah, please, thank you again for joining. And I could read for Ian. We got the first version of the survey published, and we are officially gathering data around the jobs to be done. And that's for the survey that is saying what has to be true for you to replace your existing third-party package manager tool. And really great feedback and iteration on the container registry UI. It's going to be wrapped up and ready for solution validation in 12.10, the next milestone. On to Nick.
Yeah, so for me this week, I got quite a lot of little MRs and refactoring MRs all merged this week, which I really wasn't expecting to happen because at the end of the milestone, it's like maintainers are busy, etc., etc. So I was quite surprised that a lot of those got merged, but it feels good. What's my next one? Oh yeah, I felt pretty productive like most of the week, and like feel like I've made some good contributions this week, and not just like with merge requests, but like reviews and just other things as well. So yeah, I felt like I've had a pretty good week this week. Over to Haley.
Right. So the long-term fixes for the resource usage issue I talked about are actually not too difficult. So that's good. And I feel confident that the next container registry release will go smoother than this one. On to David.
The Nugget demo went well, no failures. And I got several MRs merged this week, which felt great. And I actually had time to already start working on the 12.9 issue. So that's good. Over to Nico.
Yeah, so we are one MR far from the MVC of the new container registry, which also means group level container registry. The MR is not so big, the one that is currently worked, but is a bit controversial. So finger crossed. And over to Joao.
So this week was a roller coaster. We shipped the S3 performance improvements for 12.8. We have not one but two container registry releases. Then we found a problem in CNG, which stands for Cloud Native GitLab. Thanks, Ellie. And we end up having to create another registry release to force the rollout of the previous two. So that's 3 releases in total in a single week. And as well, the tag delete API performance improvements were merged, both for GitLab and the container registry. And I already tested them in staging. And I was a bit scared because of the bug that Nico just mentioned it, but fortunately it was not a problem. And the results are looking good. That's it, on to them.
Oh, I think this is probably Ian's item, but yeah, I'll read for Ian in the action items here is, I think it's Ian anyway. Reminder, if you haven't filled out the jobs to be done, thanks Haley. Survey, please do so and provide any feedback by end of day today. Thank you. And the survey links and feedback issue are there. All right. Does anyone want to chat about anything in particular out of the list of things we discussed today in the retro?
I just, because there's so many releases that are going out for the container registry, maybe we could just highlight the things that are included. I think maybe so the S3 optimizations for garbage collection, those are included.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's the tag delete, the new tag delete API route, which we have used for the tag delete improvement in GitLab. The S3 garbage collection improvements, a fix for Google Cloud Storage, another fix for S3, which Ellie might want to talk about.
Yeah, so the S3, the mark improvements for S3 are now behind a feature flag. So if you do parallel walk equals true in your S3 configuration for a container registry, that will enable you to use those features.
And the delete corrupted manifest is already out there.
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's also included. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And also the expiration policies will go out in 12.8 as well for all new projects, right?
Just that's something that I wanted to talk about. So everything is set to go correctly. All the MR around it are merged. The expiration policy is still behind feature flag. So what needs to happen is that all the fix in production, we have one successful round of testing, and then there is an already MR ready to remove the feature flag. But we will be able to merge that only after we verify that everything is working smoothly. The process is a bit long because it needs to hit production, then 1 day needs to pass, so the expiration policy run, and then we can merge the MR. It should be all good for 22, but we are a bit tight because just the testing process is longer, not because there is more work to do.
Is the cutoff date the 18th now?
It changes, but generally that's when they cut the release.
Okay.
If you, I'll keep an eye on the releases channel. They usually kind of keep that up to date. But yeah, like optimally, it'll hit .com on Monday when they do the release then, and then we will be able to see whether or not it worked by around noon or 1 Pacific time on Monday, because that's when it's going to automatically run on production. And then at that point, then we just say like, hey, maintainers, please,
Be good.
please remove the feature flag, and then we're all good.
And it's a holiday Monday too, so it's a little
Yeah,
It's a
just
holiday.
something to keep in mind.
yeah. In the America, it's a holiday.
I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll plan to assign Bob as a maintainer, which he did the rest of the work around this, so should be okay.
Okay.
So we're not totally taking notes here, peeps. Remember, we've got people that want to follow along at home, so there's a bit to follow up on in these notes, if people wouldn't mind.
And NuGet's going out with the front end, which is also, I'm sorry, I'm really excited about this release. So also, I know we in the almost everything included in NuGet. That's really exciting. Anything else that we're excited about that's going out in this release? Sounds like enough to me.
All right. And I think that's good. So the one thing I wanted to mention, David, your NuGet MR that you said has been sitting in maintainer review for a week. I want to go follow up on that. I'll go find the issue and go sort of track down what's going on there. That's probably not great. Just question though, are you been getting feedback for that week, or has it just been sort of sitting?
I had a first round of feedback. The thing is that the first backend maintainer had to hand off the MR since he was going to be unavailable shortly. And then I received backend feedback and addressed it. And I received this morning the second one, and I address it again. As for the database, I received one, I address it, and the maintainer is unavailable until Tuesday. Let me put the link in the document.
Okay, cool.
We do have a couple extra database maintainers. I think there's one that just got, that one person just became a maintainer this week, so might be able to reassign it if there's an urgency behind it.
The issue is that if the first feedback from the database maintainer was kind of a major flaw in the search query. So I fixed it, and now I have to wait for feedback. And so this maintainer has the context of the issue and how the first review has been made. So since we know that this merge request will slip into 12.9, I guess we can still wait to Tuesday.
All right. Cool. Thank you for that. Sounds like there's not a lot to be done here, but you might want to consider reassigning those reviews if you're getting like, I won't be able to touch it. But again, as mentioned, it's a holiday on Monday in the US for a lot of people. And so you may not get a response from people who are located in the US. So just keep in mind. And as you said, it's not part of the MVC. So it's okay if it goes longer, but obviously we don't want stuff sitting around too much if we can help it. So cool. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now. Hang around for a second, everyone. But just want to say thank you for everyone who's been following along at home. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day and their weekend. And thanks again for everyone's time. Bye.